Live. Tis time to go live. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our little session here for Monday, the 9th of May, 2022. John Lavinia here with you. And happy Mother's Day once again to all of our mothers. We have many mothers here in the group.
Many mothers. We mother all kinds of people, whether they're ours or not. Yeah, I'm going to shut up now.
All right, you do that. All right, very good. But it's good to see you all. I got something really, really important and hopefully enlightening to share with you today. And I've got an announcement. So let's get right into it. First of all, let me welcome. We got so many new members who've recently gotten started, a couple of which I got to meet this morning on a little welcome session I did. So that's great. Sharon, I see you in the chat. You're having problems with your camera. That's awesome. No worries. We can get through it. I'm gorgeous. You can just stare at me. I'm on camera. That's fine. But I wanted to share with you something, whether you're new here or a seasoned veteran, something that's come up for me again and again as it relates to you actually achieving your goals here with the methods that you're applying or any method. What I want to talk with you about today, like we talk about every time I've hosted one of these, is more of the mindset of success, not so much like the technicals and the how-to stuff. You're learning all that from your course material and your coaches who are expert in their own way with, various operational stuff and methods. Okay. I talk to you more about philosophies than methods. And the one I want to talk with you about today, which has come up for me multiple times, not just throughout the 35 years that I've been studying this sort of thing, but recently it's come up multiple times, is the idea of thinking from the end. I didn't say thinking of the end. I said thinking from the end. Okay, so this is a profound concept if you get it. I wrote about it in my first book, Integrity is Everything, thinking from the end. I want you to consider, and this is a question I've asked pretty much all of you, right? When you got started, with the community and in the training and all this. And the question, whether you gave me a direct answer or not, is what's your goal? What do you want? In other words, like, why are you here? Like, obviously, you've done something to get to this point in your life, in your business career, and your pursuits of entrepreneurship or whatever you're doing. But that level of performance and that level of thinking and everything that goes on with it, that got you this far, but not further. So now you're looking to do what? To add methods, to add, you're looking for increase, right? This is nothing new about that. All living creatures seek, survival, increase, expansion, right? Trees grow, people learn stuff and create things, and right, that's all about expansion. In fact, in his classic book, The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace Wattles wrote about the advancing man or the advancing woman, right? So here's a person who's about advancement, and others that are fortunate to be in their space, or they can perceive that they can also advance in life by being a part of this, this advancing theme that's going on. So that's something that all living creatures do. We're about advancement. And so I ask you questions like that, and I'll ask you again to please consider, what do you want? What are you here to create? What's your intent? If you're here for a hobby, well, there's other more entertaining things that you could probably do, right? You could probably be watching, kitten videos on YouTube right now or something, and it's a delight. You're not going to make any money, but you could do that. But I think you're here for increase, for advancement. Well, to what end? Do you have a specific outcome? What would indicate to you that this was a successful action? Great question. And if you're vague, well, you get to be vague. I don't know that I've ever achieved the goal by being vague about what the goal is. So, right. So we're going to have to add a little bit of specificity to this. We're going to have to kind of crystallize it, hone it down. And if you're able to do that, then what I'm going to tell you next is going to be super powerful for you, like super powerful. And when I've done this, when I remember to do this, it helps me advance that much more assuredly. here's the question. So let's say you've got a goal. You've identified, here's a financial target, an outcome, because the money is there for what? To, give you options to buy stuff, right? To provide for, future, or to provide service beyond your own physical presence. Money is the tool. All right. So what's the money for? Okay. Let's say, for example, you wanted a new vehicle, all right? Car, truck, whatever. All right. Well, what vehicle? Okay. So we're talking about specifically now. I remember my first luxury car that I wanted to buy. It was a Lexus. And it wasn't just any Lexus. I knew exactly everything about that car, the color, the interior, the exterior, the kind of wood that they use, the sound system, everything, the little sunshade that goes up and down in the back window. I knew everything about that car before I ever drove it. So when I actually got the car, it was like deja vu, right? I didn't need to read the manual or anything. I already know. In fact, I knew more about that car than the salesman did. But I was driving that car mentally and emotionally before it ever showed up in my garage. The idea here is that we're thinking from the end. So the question then, what do you want? Okay, so let's identify that. Let's crystallize that. And you can put yourself in a physiological, mental, emotional, spiritual position to already be the person who has it. In other words, if you're saying, I want that, then you're saying, I don't have it. That's an affirmation of lack, right? I want such and such, which means I don't have it. But if you already have it, do you want it? No, you've got it. You're grateful for stuff you have. Well, there's a clue. Gratitude. Oh, I'm grateful for stuff I have. Well, let me feel grateful about it now. Let me participate in this image as if it's already done. How does that feel? Well, I feel accomplished and grateful and happy and enthusiastic. And I don't know, pick whatever words are most powerful for you. But as that person perceives that accomplishment, that event, that achievement, right? The only thing you lack at this present moment is the physical, there's the car in the garage. Okay. But everything else you can manufacture. And so when we reach goals, here's the interesting thing about this. It's a bit of an exchange here. Sometimes people think, well, when I reach my goal, it's going to be like, wow, I'm going to be jumping up and down, excited, elated, like I just won the lottery. Oh, I can't believe it. It's amazing. No, you won't. No, it'll be like deja vu. Yeah, of course I got the Lexus. Of course I did. What the hell else am I going to do? What am I here for? All right. We achieve the goal. So you get to trade off some of the imagined, shock and surprise and elation, like you just won the sweepstakes or something. No, you didn't. You made this happen. And as a matter of course, it happened. So the actual, receiving of the item or the getting of the money is the only thing circumstantially that is lacking in the moment. So if we just took our attention off of that and put our attention onto the reality that those events and accomplishments do exist as a guaranteed future outcome, and we start to live as that. See, there's a principle at play here. It's be, do, and have. I wrote about this in Integrity is Everything. There's three words. It's be, and then do, and then have. Johann Goethe, the great German philosopher, said one must be something in order to do something. Obviously, okay, and one must do something in order to have something. So it's be, and then do, and then have. So be it now. Live in the end as if it's already done. Now, here's why this is so powerful, because we're actually hitting fast forward on the videotape, right? And we'll get to all the drama and everything that leads up to it, okay? But the dragon is slain. It's too late to fail. I've already got it. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, physiologically. Okay, physically, I don't have the car in the garage yet. Okay, so that's the only thing that we're not going to put our attention on that. We're going to put our attention on who's actually causing all this. And who's actually causing all this is a person quite capable of coming up with the vision of having this thing. Well, then let's do that. Solomon said, where there is no vision, the people perish. All right, well, have the complete vision of that as if it's already done. Be that person now. Then you'll do what that person has to do to get what that person has. Now, if you don't do this, you have to struggle. You have to, right? Because if we're always coming from the position of lack, well, then you're being the person who lacks. And then you'll make different choices and you'll have less. It always works. Be, and then do, and then have. So thinking from the end means hitting fast forward on the videotape and then living in that future state. Now here's the extra little treat that I'm going to give you here today. Here's the magic. Okay. What's going to be your next goal now that you've achieved this one? I know the car's not in the garage yet. I got it. Okay. But let's say it is. Let's say it is. Let's complete the vision here. What is going to be your next goal? This is a question I didn't ask myself. And it cost me dearly because I got the Lexus and then the Maserati and the Bentley and all the other stuff. Okay. But in the interim there, I had dips. So when we're enthusiastic and we're producing and we're building momentum and we're on the upswing, that's great. But what happens when you achieve the goal? Now you've got it for real, physically, like for real. Now what happens? I don't know, sit there and, polish the car or something. Is that it? I mean, go ahead and celebrate your accomplishment. That's nice. But I mean, if all life is about expansion and creation, well, if you're not about that, well, then you're going in the other direction. Nothing rests. It's create or destroy. It's expand or disintegrate. So here's the danger of accomplishing your goal. If you don't have an answer for what's next, down go your stats. I've seen this a million times. So my question for you then, now that you've accomplished whatever you said you are here to accomplish, now what? Come up with an answer for that. And now, again, you're living in the end. In other words, I've already accomplished the goal, the Lexus, the whatever, the 20 grand a month, whatever your goal happens to be in present time. So now that you've already accomplished that, what's your next goal? Start thinking like that person. Not only does that have, this initial goal, the short-term or medium-term goal, not only does that cause it to seem more, I don't know if reasonable is the word, but wow, that's a smaller one. So now you're perceiving your current goals as quite achievable because now you're looking further. You see, we've advanced the videotape, but it's not just for hindsight seeing, oh yeah, I accomplished that. It's also seeing now that I have demonstrated that I've become and done the work and have achieved, right? Be, do, and have. Now that I've done that, where's my vision? Where there is no vision, the people perish. There's no resting here. What's your next goal? Start thinking like that person. And then watch how much faster you accomplish the current goal. It's a little bit of a play of consciousness here, right? And by the way, I'm not saying it's easy. It's what did Henry Ford say? He said, thinking is the hardest work there is, which is probably why so few people engage in it, right? He also said, if I asked people what they wanted, they would have asked for a better horse. So we've got to think outside the box. Our little box of what we, up to this point, our best thinking, which got us this far, but not further. We've got to think outside of that and think, well, you know what? I'm bigger than that. Yeah, I can cause this stuff. I can make this stuff happen. And I don't have to do it alone, right? I've got a community of people. I've got support. I got this wacky Lavinia guy who tells me about, all this mental stuff. And you know what? I can do this. I mean, I'm not the first person on planet Earth to have done it. Who am I to not do it? Right? How self-diminishing for me to not do it. Well, let me just get on with it then. And so, because we're going to have considerations, we're going to have all these things impinging upon us and various conditions of life and circumstances or whatever, suggesting that we can't. So I'm thinking you damn well better build yourself up. And this is a powerful way to do it. Ignore the evidence for just a moment. Enough with being reasonable with yourself and others, right? Let's get on reasonable here. Let's get on reasonable. Now that you've accomplished that goal, where are you going? Again, not comfortable. Fine, whatever. What's the alternative? If nothing changes, nothing changes. Sit there and do whatever you're doing. And then we can have this conversation next year, 5 years from now. I mean, I don't know if you can piss away time like you're immortal or whatever, but I mean, if not now, then when? What do you guys think about this? I see Susan's hand has been up already. Apparently I pushed a button here or two. Did I push your buttons, Susan? What do you think? Come on out. And then we'll get Scott Barker out here. Susan, unmute, please.
Okay, there we go. Okay, I was just writing down a last thing, because the last thing you said, if you we'll be here next year and saying the same thing. I listened to Jim Rohn a lot, and that's what he said, that he was told, his mentor said, well, what have you done the last 6 years? And if it was nothing, then the next 6 years are going to be the same. And if you don't do it, you have to do something about it, which is what we're all here to do. So when you were first talking about your goals, I started writing down my okay, what are my goals? I want to get out of debt first. And then I was writing down my expenses, how much I would need to make to cover my living expenses, and then thinking, how much more will I need to be able to travel and continue to live debt free and so forth. And then it kind of hit me as like, well, maybe I need to split these up and not just go for the whole shebang at once, just focus on the debt free right now, and then move on from there, cover my living expenses and find the money to be able to travel. And after that, maybe buy a summer house, or, so keep making goals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got it.
That's what I was thinking. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Susan. Good.
So it is.
Yes. And whatever, right. And whatever examples are whatever items or, visions you have, they're valid for you. Understand, everybody, when we are doing exercises like this is a very, self-determined kind of a thing. That doesn't mean you're, self-centered or something. That just means that it damn well better be relevant to you. Even if your goals include other people, take the kids to Disney or whatever, right? Right. It's you who we're looking to have an effect on right now. We're looking to affect ourselves. I see Ruth in the chat. Neville Goddard. Yeah. Ruth, you got it. Ruth, we're neighbors, by the way. So Neville, Neville talked about this. Yeah. Thinking from the end. You got it. Wow. Good times. Good to see you, Ruth. Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
All right. Hey, Scott, what thinks you, sir?
Hello again. Hello, morning, everyone. Several things came up, quite obviously. The difference between the mental and the physical. You create Neville Goddard says this as well. You obviously, anything that's created in the physical was first created in the mental sphere, obviously. It's not just, but I think what we're talking about is not just the conceptualization of something and the fleshing out of the concept of something, but the actual creation of something in the mental realm as being as significant, as real as something you create in the physical realm. In fact, I guess the concept, I think I've mentioned this before, that the mental concept, the mental construct that you have, the form, the essential idea, is not necessarily a different reality. You're not jumping from one reality, the physical, to a different reality, the mental. It's actually two parts of the same reality, but in the same way you have an electromagnetic spectrum that encompasses all different sorts of items, from sound to light to radio frequencies and everything. They're all different parts of the same spectrum. The idea would be by parallel that the mental is part of the same spectrum as the physical. And in fact, it is, from a lot of people's perspective, an aspect of the physical, the same reality, the same three-dimensional reality. So therefore, what we're doing is not jumping between realities, as some people would say, like as in quantum jumping, but actually just nudging this reality a little bit toward and directing it and shaping it in a way that we want to. That's the basic idea. And I think that helps when we realize how powerful we are in shaping the physical reality based on the significance and legitimacy of the conceptual world. But also too, I think you mentioned something very important. Goals and visions. I think a vision is like the end point of an accumulation of goals on an increasing scale of complexity and achievement and self-concept, in the sense that, so let's just say you have a vision of something and it requires three goals to be achieved. They're bigger and bigger goals each time. Now the whole point, the difference between a vision, I think, and a goal is a vision is much further off. A vision is something you have trouble encompassing as a real possibility for you. But the beauty of the goals that you achieve on the way, like, for example, as Susan said, just getting financially capable of paying your bills and so forth. Say there are three goals. You achieve the first goal, and that goal that you set is within the realm of what you honestly believe is physically possible for you. So you've achieved it. But when you do so, because it's often on the edge of that, by the time you've achieved that first goal, you've expanded your self-concept to such a point that you can encompass the second goal on the climb to the vision. And so then you go ahead and you achieve the second goal. And by the time you achieve the second goal, your self-concept has expanded so much in that process that you now can see goal 3. And I mean, the vision is still a long way off, but it's a little bit closer mentally and emotionally because you've expanded. And that's the whole point of goals and visions. It's not so much the achieving the goal or even achieving the vision that's the most important thing. I mean, it's wonderful, but the most important thing is what you become in the process. That's the thing that gives the most exhilarating satisfaction to people. Yeah, I made this so much money per month or whatever. Look at the person I've become in the process. I don't recognize who that is. And I don't want to recognize who that person in the past was. That's not me anymore. That personal transformation is the very essence and the magic of having a goal or a vision from the accumulation of goals. It's what you become. And that's, in fact, if that isn't what life is about, I don't know what is. Anyway, thoughts.
Cary Grant said, I just acted like Cary Grant for so long that I became him.
Yeah.
Good times. Scott, all the way from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Glad to see you, brother. Really early in the morning.
It is a bit.
Guess who we're going to hear from next? Can you guys guess? Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen.
The great Chuck.
Hey.
What is up, everybody? Happiest of Mondays to you. This topic kind of freaks me out because last night, man, I had the most vivid dream that I was in my mansion, with all my money, had my cars in the driveway, pool in the back. Like, I have this reoccurring dream of this extremely luxurious large house, and it's reoccurring. And I was in it last night, just hanging out in my house. And I said to myself, because I realized I was in a dream, but then I said to myself, I keep on having this dream so that I know exactly what it feels like to win. Like when I have everything. It's like, I was just so thankful in the moment to realize that. So today I always feel like a millionaire and a samurai, but today I really feel like a millionaire having woken up from that dream. And so this idea of thinking from the end is one of my favorite concepts. And that Scott, he said something awesome, and I'm kind of taking it a little bit off of the point that I want to make, but he was like, and I wish I could remember, but he was basically like the like purpose of completing a goal is like basically like, or the like fruit of it rather is like who you become in the process. I love that Susan brought up Jim Rohn because he's one of my favorite speakers on this kind of topic. And I just made a video which I'm going to link right now. It's it's kind of on private because I'm still making a thumbnail for it. But John is featured in this as well as Jim Rohn and Eric Thomas. So you guys all check this out because this is basically speaking about this topic. But anyway, I'm reminded of a Jim Rohn quote was that he was like, or I think it was from his mentor, Shof. He was like, should you accumulate $1 million, it's best that you become a millionaire, ASAP, so that you get to keep the money. And also, when you become I feel like I'm repeating myself, but like the beauty of becoming a millionaire, it really is for who you become in the process. Because take Donald Trump for an example. Like he's been bankrupt, multiple times, or he's gone broke, multiple times and got his fortune back because he's a millionaire. Like it's a part of his it's like his blueprint to be able to make a lot of money. And so he does it continuously on a regular basis. He just makes money. That's just what he does. So it's really not about the money. And I was thinking about this last night in the shower too, was that when I have my millions, it's really not about the money. Like I'm excited for who I'm going to become and what qualities I'm going to sharpen within myself and bring out. And so yeah, I just kind of wanted to share that dream I had because I think that's really funny that that you are on this topic of visualization. I had this dream that was completely unprompted, but it is recurring. So I know for damn sure that I'm going to accomplish this goal. Oh yeah, and then one more point. On the point of making a goal after your goal, excellent point. That's the secret weapon because in this video that I linked, I speak a bit about my fitness journey. And at one point I had reached a goal in my fitness journey, but I didn't have one after that. And then I got chubby again. Like I lost all of my gains because I just thought, hey, I'm up here at the top. I did it. Now I can chill and, eat eat donuts and stuff. And like, man, that was not the move. So it's like a continued pursuit of what it is that you would like to see in your life. And a book that I'm reading right now is Grant Cardone's 10X Rule. And that book is freaking amazing because he really talks about that the problem is not like in goal setting. The problem is not with like where your goal is. It's like it's like people underestimate how much effort will be needed to go into the goal. And so the like best thing to do is to times your goals by 10 so that even if you fall short, you'll still like land in like a really good place. And to just play on 10x levels because that's really what it takes to win. Yeah, man, I think I'm done for today.
Well, thank you, Shaq.
I'm a little tired, so excuse me.
Well, you just produced a 25, almost 26-minute video. That's on Wukong's World channel.
Yes, sir. Yes,
there
sir.
You go. I got it pulled up. When we're done, I'm going to go watch it and
awesome.
say I'm in it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Oh, Shaq, man, it's always good to talk to you. I know Grant, and Grant has a very simple approach to this whole idea of 10X, right? But it kind of goes right along with what we're talking about is that, here are these goals, which at the outset you may think are, wow, I hope I can. That's not the right conversation.
Right.
Okay. How about, hey, I'm freaking huge. And like, yeah, here's this one little goal. Let's knock that out. Right. You mentioned Trump as an example, right? In fact, in his book, Art of the Deal, first line in the book, I don't do it for the money. First line in the book, right? So the beingness of that, right? Who is this who's performing here? Who's doing it? Whether we're talking about print on demand, e-commerce, or building skyscrapers or whatever, who's doing it? That's the question, right? So the person who perceives, a multi-million-dollar deal as something that you do as a matter of course, right? He's not a millionaire, by the way. He's a billionaire, right? Multi-billionaire. So that's
me.
right. So it's a bigger game, right? I mean, what's the difference? Zeros, a couple zeros, right? So if we start looking at our intentions with that level, with that perspective of like, yeah, it's nice, like a couple $1,000,000, whatever. If we start looking at our intentions like that, well, then I mean, you pretty much get what you expect, right? It can even add an air of flippancy, right? It's not so damn serious. It's just a couple $1,000,000, right? Maybe you guys come up with some mantras like that, some affirmations or whatever. It's just $1,000,000, whatever.
Exactly. I love that part. You get what you expect.
Mm-hmm.
Get what you expect. So make your goals huge, and just do it. Just get it done.
Nice, Scott, and then anybody else?
Yes, John. I think Sharks touched upon some very interesting things. One thing, you may remember many years ago, Robert Schuller. He spoke about, he's a Christian minister, and he had a concept called the peak to peak principle. And in line with setting goals, the idea is, say you have 4 goals. The last goal is the attainment of that vision, the biggest goal. But when you first start out, you can only see the first goal as a possibility, the first peak, if you like. And you can't even see the second goal or the third or the fourth until you get to the top of that first mountain. And then your vision is much greater. Then you can see the second mountain. You may not be able to see the third one, but you at least can see the second one, the next one to go to. And when you attain that one, then you can see the third mountain. You may not know in which direction you need to go for the next mountain, for the next goal, but you can't see it. Sometimes you can't see it until you've attained the one before. So all you really have in your hand is the one certain goal, the small certain goal, and the very uncertain vision down the line. And if that's all you've got, that's enough. It's enough to keep going, because once you've attained that first goal, as part of that process, your vision will expand. As you know, the higher you are, the further you see. And that's the principle that he was talking about. I think that's very valid. Even if you don't have to have all the pieces in place. You don't even have to have all the goals in place. Just have the first goal and the vision, even if it's somewhat hazy, in somewhere up ahead. That's enough. Because by the time you get to that actual vision, your view will become so crystal clear, because you will have changed so much and grown so much that it will no longer seem so unlikely or impossible to you. Even if it's impossible now, that's fine. The only thing that you have to attach possibility to and probability to is the first small goal. That's all you need. And that's enough to keep you moving, to get you going. And I think one thing too that's sort of prompted from the discussion is that very often we are taught in schools and so forth, and by society, to disregard imagination as basically a waste of time. I mean, have your feet planted in the real world, so to speak. And we're taught to disregard imagination as a total waste of our time. It's for kids, it's for children. And yet, I think imagination is like a muscle. If you exercise it, it becomes stronger. And with it, you can create, obviously, the visions and the goals that you need. The beauty about imagination is that as you practice it with specific exercises for that purpose, or in goal setting, sequential goal setting, your capacity to imagine grows. The immersive nature of that experience grows. Because subconscious can't, as you know, the subconscious can't tell the difference between what's physical and what's imagined. And so as far as the subconscious is concerned, well, that's real because it can't tell the difference. Once the imagination experience is so immersive, so tactile, so sensory laden, it becomes indiscernible from reality. Just in the same way, if you had, this is a philosophical point, if you had the same dream every night, but each night the dream proceeded to the next stage every night, and it was like a sequence of dreams in a procession, the possibility exists that when you wake up, you won't know which is your real life. Was it the dream life that seems so immersive and so real, or was it this waking consciousness that seems devoid of meaning by comparison? And you could actually get yourself in a situation where you would think that your dream state is more real than your day-to-day working state. That's how powerful imagination can be. And the beauty, I think, one of the key aspects of imagination, particularly once the experience becomes so immersive and so real, is what actually happened in the Harry Potter situation, Escape from Azkaban. I mentioned this before, when he had fought all these Dementors, and this is something that as a wizard in his school he could never even contemplate doing. He was on the hippogriff with Hermione flying away, and she said, "How do you know you could do it?" And because what happened with the time shifting, he had actually seen himself do it previously, and imagination is exactly the same. So he responded, "Yeah, I knew I could do it because I'd already done it." And that's what imagination will give you. It gives you the capacity to show your subconscious you already doing it, that you've already done it. And subconscious says, well, of course I can do it because I've already done it. That's where imagination really gains power. That's what really shapes your subconscious mind and shapes reality, because it gives you that pseudo experience of already having experienced it. And obviously, how can you doubt yourself? You've already done it. It makes no sense. And it clears that doubt away. And self-doubt is the very thing that will block you every single time from attaining anything of any value. And this is one little mechanism. There are other ways, but this is one way in which you can clear that self-doubt out of the way and make your runway clear. Anyway, a few thoughts.
Yes, you've got those thoughts, Scott. Thank you. I've seen that movie, I don't know how many times, with my daughter. And for those of you who don't know what Scott was referring to, is one of the Harry Potter movies. There's a good amount of metaphor in there and lessons. But the other thing is, you mentioned that, from peak to peak, you don't know the path until you get up here, and then you can see more of the path. So this isn't about how to.
No.
That wasn't the topic for today. It was how to. All right. But the how to pretty much takes care of itself. Like, more is revealed as you walk the path, because you know that there's a summit. There is. Right. So start walking. But nobody knows how to reach a goal until you've reached it. But don't let that diminish your expectation of reaching it. So thank you, Scott. Always interesting insights. So we got the chat roll lit up here as well. Anybody else on this, whatever this topic is that we're talking about here today? I don't see any other hands. All right, announcement time. In the spirit of everything we just talked about, I'm expanding. I am adding stuff and reassessing stuff. You guys know I spent a week in Kauai last week, but the week before, and mapping out with my business partners, including and especially my wife, who's my secret weapon, what we're doing moving forward. As a bit of trivia, this daily success call, started a year ago. So it's been a year. So we got it up and running. We got a lot of people succeeding now with the low-hanging system and everything that has been provided for you here. It has been a big decision on my part to put my focus on my mastermind group and our branding and marketing agency and the stuff that we're doing, and release this forum, or this portion of the forum, to others. So this is actually my last live broadcast on this platform. Now, everybody relax. You can certainly follow me. In fact, I've got a couple links for you here. In fact, you can get a free trial membership for my mastermind group, which basically this is an offshoot of. And you can also follow me on YouTube. So it's basically the same kind of content that we talk about here. I'm not a technical guy. I'm more into the philosophy and stuff like that. So if the personal development angle is your thing, then go ahead and check out those links. Ruth, I know you just got here. That's fine. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still all over the interwebs, johnlavenia.com and all that. But this room, as it exists right now, is still going to be here for you. I don't know if they're going to have somebody jump in and hosting this. I know they've got somebody coming in on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Jackie. I will tell you that I go live every day. Scott, you're not going to like this. At noon Eastern US time. So an hour and 15 minutes back. So get up even earlier, damn it. But that's, and plus, I do a book study group, and we've got different presenters that do different studies on not only e-commerce, but sales and corporate considerations and life and business tools. I've got one of my guys who's one of our facilitators is just a total scholar when it comes to legal and contracting and stuff like that. So we encompass a whole lot more. But that's there for you. If that's your, if you like my stuff, then you can come get my stuff there. But I'm going to go ahead and release this seat, and I don't have more details on what's coming next as far as this particular platform. So stay tuned for more of that. Again, you guys all know how to reach me, and I do want to thank you for any of you who sent in. Scott, I know you did, sent in feedback on on what you guys have gotten out of this over the last year that I've been hosting this call or this session. All right. So thank you for your feedback. You can always catch me on the email as well as, certainly on the web. So that's it for now. Thank you guys for an awesome year of being here with you. I know some of you just got here. I will be on YouTube and also be in my mastermind group, and you can check me out at johnlavenia.com. You guys make it a great day. And this room will be open again as soon as we're done. So you guys can come back here and help each other and do whatever you like to do with this room. It's here for you.